Hey guys, David Patrick Green, davidpatrickgreen.com, hackhollywood.com. I've got a really simple question that was asked to me recently, and that is, how hard is it to become a professional actor? And I think a lot of you are going to be really surprised at the answer, because the answer is, it's really easy to become a professional actor. Why we complicate things is kind of complicated. It has to do with what we think we're supposed to do because what other people told us to do, or it has to do with maybe how we've seen other people go about it, or it might be something that was told to us, or maybe even ingrained to us from a very young age, and that is work really hard, and this is how you try and get a job in other facets of life. But the truth of the matter is, if I actually had to think about all of the things that I did, and then all of the things that I did that actually had some actual impact on my acting career, the number of things that had an actual impact on my acting career were incredibly small. Okay, so let me just quickly tell you all the things that I did that had no impact whatsoever. First thing, and this is probably the first thing every actor does, and this is the first thing you should never do, is go out and get headshots, okay? Forget headshots because they will get in your way. The only reason you actually need headshots is once you have a reputation in the business, so that when somebody submits you for something or you submit yourself, they actually know who you are. Because if they don't know who you are, a headshot is not going to tell them anything about you. And wishing that your headshot would actually get you an acting job is a huge exercise in futility, okay? Second thing, agents. You don't need an agent. An agent is also something that will get in the way. And if an agent is submitting you with your headshots and nobody knows who you are, nobody's going to bring you in. Third thing, and this kind of covers all digital media, and that is online submissions and so having a website and social media posts. Okay, because what are we told? Oh, you need to develop relationships with casting directors online. You need to have a website so that you can send people to look at your reel and more of your headshots, right? I mean, what do we do with our websites? We just pile up the headshots and hope one of them resonates with somebody. And hopefully the way it resonates is actually a reflection of who we are, which chances are it's not, because the headshot photographer starts taking pictures. They don't really know who we are, and we don't really tell them who we are. So they just shoot away, and this is what we get. And then we ask our friends which headshots do they like. And it really has nothing to do with the actual casting process. Okay? So all of that social media stuff and online representations of yourself, and that includes your demo reel. Did I get to demo reel yet? Let's call that number 4, even though it's kind of the same ball of wax. You don't need a demo reel either. Why? And I know you're going, how is that possible, David? I've been told I need a demo reel. I've spent hundreds of dollars getting one made up because I don't have any actual credits to my name. Well, you don't need a demo reel because, frankly, what are the chances that what's on your demo reel is actually going to help you more than it actually hurts you? Because whatever's on there, how do you know that that's what you're going to be going out for in the real world? So whatever they see on there, that's what they think you are. So it immediately limits you to whatever is on it. So, okay, you're going to be jack of all trades, funny guy here, dramatic person there, clown, whatever your, various range you think you have is. No. All it does is it limits you, because as soon as you call somebody and talk to them and say, hey, I'd be great for your part, then they're going to probably believe you, right? So they're going to say, if you have a conversation with someone, they'll say, okay, I'll take your word for it, and you can maybe give them some reasons why you think you'd be perfect for the part. But they'll say, okay, well, let's see what you actually do. But what they end up doing, if you have a reel, is they'll look at the reel and they'll say, oh, well, based on what I've seen in the reel, that person is not right for the part. So it could actually get you out of the running of a part. So especially when you've already made contact with someone and you're having a conversation with them, never show any of your materials to them, because everything that you could tell them and they could wait and see if you're telling the truth is thrown out the window as soon as they see your materials. They'll go, oh, this is what this person looks like. Oh, this is their reel, so this is what they can do, and this is how good they are. So the other problem with the reel is, how old is the material on it? If you're just getting started out, hopefully you're a better actor than when you did the material that's on your reel. So you are getting people to look at you as you were 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, who knows? Hopefully by now you're actually a better actor. So they're judging you on who you are in the reel and also how good or bad you are on the reel. Okay, so that is one of the worst possible things. So here's a great example of what you actually should do. Instead of doing all this, what I would call facsimiles of yourself, that's what they are. They're representations of you instead of you, the actual person. And really what you want is to always be face to face with someone who has a role that you know you are right for. Okay, that is the ideal situation, and that's what you should always be striving for. And don't worry about all of these other ideas and representations of yourself. And don't worry what your friends are doing, and don't worry about submitting yourself for everything. You are not right for everything. My agent submits me for stuff all the time, and I go, I'm not right for that. And they're like, well, yeah, but you could act it. And I'll say, yeah, sure, I could act the super nerdy computer guy. You know, I could act like that, but there are people who are that. So there's no way on earth they would choose me for something unless I'm some big celebrity. There's no way they're going to choose me for something when there is someone far more suited to it. So that's another thing you need to be aware of, is you should just be going after the things that you are perfect for. Once you get famous, sure, you can do all kinds of things. You can spread your the breadth of the roles that you play. Like, you can be a Gary Oldman who does everything from Rastafarian drug dealers to, Commissioner Gordon in Batman, to Sid Vicious or Johnny Rotten or whoever he played in Sid Vicious, obviously, in Sid and Nancy. Once you become a really authentic and well-known actor, then you can spread your wings a little. But when you're getting started, trying to simplify getting to that professional level, you want to really be going after what you're perfect for. Okay, so we've eliminated a lot of things that you don't need to do, right? The reel, the website. You don't need to go to casting director workshops. In fact, and I said you don't need an agent. You also don't need casting directors. What, David? What? But casting directors cast shows. Well, actually, they don't cast shows. They bring people in for auditions so that the producers can cast the show. Okay, so casting director is actually a misnomer for what casting directors actually do. Casting directors are like the HR department of the entertainment industry, but they work independently. So they're sort of like a recruiter. I don't know if you've worked in the corporate world, but recruiters basically scan job sites, scan LinkedIn, websites like that. They're looking for people to fit jobs, and they are paid by employers to find people for these jobs, because the corporate HR department, while they are also one of the screening processes, they are more busy with creating processes within the organization, compensation, job descriptions, and they are really the front line. But the recruiters or the casting directors are the middlemen. So they're out there looking for the potential employees, for the actors, and then they refer them to the front lines of the production company, which could be the production assistants or the producers themselves. But basically, they're setting up interviews. They're setting up job interviews, but they have no power whatsoever to make a decision. Now, I know that may sound hard to believe for you guys, but it's actually true. The only people that have the power to decide are the ones that are ostensibly writing the checks, the ones that are signing the checks, okay? Those are the people that ultimately are making the decisions. And the casting directors are really dependent on actors to make themselves known to them. But you actually don't need them, because if you can meet producers yourself, which you can, then you can forego the entire process that I just described. Every single thing that I described that you don't need, you can completely forego it and get acting jobs directly from producers. Okay, so now that we know what you don't need and who does what and why you don't need really any of these people, let's talk about the real simplicity of what you do need. And this is all that you need, okay? And this applies to really anything in life. The first thing you have to do is decide what you want to do. And this can't be general, okay? So you have to decide very specifically what you want to do. The way I like to do it is pick one single job that you could do, and then you could drop dead and be happy, okay? So whatever that is. And so it's obviously got to be very specific, and you can't just go, oh, I want to be in a movie. Well, what movie? What role would you be playing in the movie? So it doesn't have to be something that exists, but it has to be something that fits certain descriptions of certain characteristics of what you would be doing, where you would be doing it, potentially with whom you would be doing it. So let's say this. Let's say you wanted to be a series regular in a police or detective TV drama. Okay, that's pretty specific. At any given time, there's probably somewhere between 5 to 10 shows that fit along those lines. Some are going to be more right for you than others. Some are going to be more along your tastes than others. But let's say there's, 10 shows. Okay, so now we know what the 10 shows are that we are focused on. And this is all about focus. And who are producing those shows? Well, there's 10 to 15 or 20 production companies that are involved in producing those shows. There might be more, but there's probably at least 10, because there are tiers of companies, and there's sub-production companies and production companies and studios. But ultimately there are executive producers, and there's producers, and there's directors involved in the making of these shows. So some of these people are going to be the ones who will actually be casting you, okay? So now we know what you want to do. We kind of know who does it. And now what's left is, what do we have to offer? What skills are required to do that job? Okay, and this is just like any job. If you wanted to be an accountant, maybe a forensic accountant, which means a legal accountant, involved in crime and deciphering accounting crimes, I guess you'd call it. Same thing, you would need very specific skills. So what are the acting skills you would need? What level are they, and how do you have to come across? And maybe even, how well suited are you to the show? Like for a show like, I think it's called Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Andy Samberg and those guys, it's sort of tongue-in-cheek. I mean, it's very tongue-in-cheek. So it looks like a real show, but then there's a lot of, sort of talking to the camera stuff going on. And so that would require a certain amount of comedic skills, and not everybody has those. Not everybody gets comedy. So if that's what you wanted to do, you would have to go, well, look, do I have professional level comedic, dramatic acting skills? But let's say it's a show like Law and Order SVU. So you would have to have high level acting skills to be dramatic. You would have to, basically be in touch with your emotions and able to play different scenarios that could involve, people getting killed, people getting hurt, losing loved ones, all of that kind of stuff. But they'd have to be A-level acting skills. And aside from that, there's really nothing else. So now all you have to do is take your skills, and you don't even have to have your skills yet. You can actually go out and meet the people that could potentially hire you without any skills whatsoever, and work on your skills in the meantime. So let's say you wanted to get on Law and Order, okay? So what I would do is I would contact somebody involved in Law and Order, and I would keep contacting people until I got the kind of result I was looking for, and I would try to volunteer some of my time. and spend time in their office doing something that I knew I was relatively good at. That could be making coffee, cleaning toilets, taking out the trash, answering the phone, literally anything. Security guard, typing, entering Excel, databases, spreadsheets, what have you. It could be social media, I don't know. But that's what I would do. I would contact them and I would say, hey, I have some skills that I think would be helpful to you. I would love to spend some time in your office. I have this many hours a week. Could you use me? And they would either say yes or they would say no. If one person says no, I would try it on somebody else. And I would basically start at the top, or the perfect bullseye for what I wanted to do. And I would just keep asking to offer my skills. And I would work my way out from the bullseye till the outer rings. Because look, if you're on the third ring, you're still not that far from the bullseye. And the people out here know the people in the bullseye. So if you do a good job for them, they can easily introduce you. And you just develop a rapport and you develop a relationship and you show them that you're helpful and you're not self-centered. You're not trying to rush through this. You just want to help them out. And in return, you're going to learn how the business works and you're going to develop relationships with them. And when the opportunity arises, when you see a role you might be right for, after a few weeks or a few months or what have you, then you can say, that role I just saw, we submitted to the breakdowns, I would be perfect for that. I know I would kill that, okay? And you would only say that if you really knew it in your heart. It just screamed, you know? And so I would say, look, I think I could do a good job. And chances are, if you've done a good job for them and you've built up a rapport, they're going to say, oh, okay, fine, call up casting and set up an appointment for yourself. And that's literally what they will probably do, is tell you to call casting yourself and book yourself an appointment, okay? And if you do a good job, guess what? The casting director now likes you. The producer now knows you have skills they weren't even aware of before. And if you really did a good job, you will actually book the job and you will get your first professional acting job. Now, how long did that take? Well, I don't know what your acting skills are like, but let's say you train for a while, I don't know, a year of training, and you stuck to it and you're confident and trust yourself and you stay simple, because that's really all you need for TV acting, is to keep it simple. And you get yourself some kind of a volunteer position. You could even get a paid position. That's fine too, whatever, but volunteer is easier to say yes to. So that's usually how I start. And few months later, in the space of a year, you could go from almost a cold rookie with no experience and nothing on your resume to being a professional actor. Now, it took me a lot longer than that because I didn't know any of this and nobody shared this stuff with me, but that is the truth, the way I know it to be. And I have been not a series regular, but I've recurred on 6 television series, I think, as of today. I have been in some of the biggest movies in Hollywood, and I have seen how it operates, and I know exactly what every single person does in this process, and I know how to build relationships, because literally I banged my head against the wall for years doing all these things that everyone kept telling me to do. Check off, check off, check off, check off. I checked everything off the list and nothing changed. Then what did I do? I started developing relationships with people and helping them out, and all of a sudden I was booking roles on network television, the biggest shows in history. So anyway, guys, that's it. It's super simple. It's super easy to become a professional actor. You just have to learn what to ignore and learn what to focus on. And those things that you need to focus on is, who am I and what do I want to do? Who is doing what I want to do? Meet those people, help them out in some way, and make sure that I have the skills to do what I want to do when the time is ripe. And there it is. What is in your way? None of those other things have anything to do with becoming a professional actor. Now, I might have just blown your mind. So, pick your jaw up off the ground and, get the vacuum, suck up the pieces of your brain that are on the floor, put them back in your ears, and tell me, say it with me, I can do this. I can do this. It's simple and it's easy, okay? It's simple and it's easy. I hope you like this video, guys. If you want to hear more like this, please ask me questions, make suggestions, and give me a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos just like this one. I will talk to you soon.